I'm going to add in the IGF-1 pre-workout, figure out the sweet spot dose, then use Januvia sitagliptin around the same time to prevent the breakdown of the exogenous IGF-1 to see if I can elicit a more pronounced effect. Now what I want is a dose. Initially I wanted to start at 25 micrograms bilaterally. So today I'm going to train chest, but if I need 25 micrograms, I literally have to draw 1 IU on the insulin syringe, right? I'll put the calculations on the screen right now so you can see what the breakdown is of this diluted content. What I'm going to do today is draw 5 IUs and inject that bilaterally. That's 50 micrograms per administration. 5 IUs on the insulin syringe is 100 micrograms recombinant human insulin-like growth factor 1, right? Increlex. This is as little as 5 IUs. Hopefully we can see that on the overhead camera. I'll drill the 6 IUs. All right, so this is all we got. And then I'll have to remove this, the air. All right. For a total of 5 IUs. And the insulin syringe, which is 100 micrograms. Probably can't see that, but here it is, right? This is on the menu for today. Let me put this in the fridge so it doesn't denature over time. I'll be right back. All right, we got it done. Actually, it was pretty straightforward. I expected that the Increlex came with a separate vial, a 4 milliliter vial or ampule of reconstituting solvent agent to help dissolve the lyophilized puck. But this is already pre-constituted, already liquid. Again, very happy that it didn't show up clouded, didn't show up denatured, because you always have to worry a little bit about the supply chain when it comes to these liquid peptides, like insulin, for example, or growth hormone, and in this case, Increlex. I remember the first time I bought Genotropin, which you have to reconstitute yourself. I didn't know how to do that, so I asked my broski, who was able to supply that for me, to show me how to reconstitute Genotropin. And of course, that guy made the exact same mistake that everybody makes when they first start reconstituting their Genotropin pens. A to B goes very well. The liquid goes to the top. It starts to dissolve the lyophilized puck, and the solution is clear. Then you have to twist B to C to get the last little bit of air out. And then you ejaculate, you come, you squirt recombinant human growth hormone all over your kitchen countertop, wasting dollars upon dollars upon dollars. And of course, you're not going to draw this, growth hormone that's now on your countertop with insulin syringes. That's a little bit too nasty. So the remainder of growth hormone that he handed to me, I cradled like a little child. It was literally gold. And then I had to bring this to my house to start using this for recreational purposes there, right? So honestly, I was a little bit worried that I was going to have to deal with a similar reconstitution process and then deal with the vacuum. Is there a vacuum? Is there no vacuum, right? Or dealing with positive pressure and then all of your Increlex that you've now reconstituted is squirting out of your bottle. Thank God I didn't have to do that. Now going forward, I will deal with 10 milligram vials that I transfer from the Increlex vial to a sterile vial and then kind of dilute that with sterile water or some other solution that I'm going to source online. Ideally, bacteriostatic water containing 0.9% benzyl alcohol for sterility purposes, which is very close to the solution that Increlex comes in. Increlex contains per 1 milliliter 10 milligrams recombinant human insulin-like growth factor 1, mecarcilin, 9 milligrams per milliliter benzyl alcohol, so that's 0.9%. 5.84 milligrams per 1 milliliter sodium chloride, 2 milligrams per 1 milliliter polysorbate 20, and 0.05 M acetate at a pH of approximately 5.4. So even if I use bacteriostatic water, 4 milliliters on top of the 1 milliliter, which contains 10 milligrams of IGF-1, I'm not exactly creating the same solution, right? I would still need sodium chloride and polysorbate 20 and whatever this 0.05 M acetate is. Give me your recommendations down below. Again, this is a little bit of a unique item. Not so many people have experience with Increlex. Again, I've been on the lookout for 10 years and now finally, I get my hands on some, but I don't want to ruin it by diluting it with, a solution that isn't really suitable to use as a dilutant. So for now, we're going to use sterile water. I mean, that's just demineralized H2O. So hopefully that will work on the first vial that I transferred. Again, fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. If you have any suggestions, just let me know down below, and I'll make the appropriate adjustments for the following vials that I'm going to utilize over the next couple of weeks. Again, I want to start at a pretty low and conservative dose. When you look at the medical insert, you see that Increlex starts, the dosing protocol starts for children who are IGF-1 deficient, right? And need a little bit of IGF-1 for their height to grow naturally, right? At the normal rate based on their genetic makeup. The dose of Increlex is 0.04 to 0.08 milligrams per 1 kilogram. So that's 40 to 80 micrograms per 1 kilogram twice per day by subcutaneous administration. If well tolerated for at least 1 week, the dose may be increased by 0.4 milligrams per 1 kilogram per dose to a maximum dose of 0.12 milligrams per 1 kilogram of body weight twice per day, 120 micrograms twice per day. And again, that's per kilogram, assuming that it's well tolerated. The very common occurrence of Increlex at higher dosages is hypoglycemia. That happens in 42% of the cases, again, being kids suffering from IGF-1 deficiency. Now, personally, I'm not really IGF-1 deficient. My IGF-1 levels, depending on what I'm taking, whether that's including growth hormone or not, hover anywhere between 180 to 250 nanograms per milliliter. So that's certainly not bad. And if I want to extrapolate from this data, being 100 kilograms, even at the lowest dose of 0.04 milligrams per 1 kilogram, I would have to use every single day 4 milligrams. So I would run through a vial in 10 days, right? Containing 40 milligrams in total. So I'm not going to go that high. Basically, I wanted to start at 25 micrograms bilaterally. So that's 50 micrograms daily in total. And then depending on the effects, I wanted to slowly but steadily start doubling in increments. So from 25 micrograms bilaterally to 50 micrograms to 100 micrograms, 200 micrograms. Of course, the total per day would be double that because you do 2 administrations at the same time. That's what bilaterally means. Now, since the dilution using sterile water of this 10 milligram per 1 milliliter only results me to allow 5 IUs being 100 micrograms, splitting that up into 2 shots bilaterally, I'm going to start with 50 micrograms bilaterally, so that's 100 micrograms in total. Wish me luck today. Today is chest day. Hopefully I have some good anecdotal report at the end of this experiment on the first day of using Increlex. And I'll be using this for approximately 10 days, after which I'll take some before and after pictures and document my results here on YouTube. I'm not entirely sure which dose I'm going to end up at, but I'll keep you guys posted maybe on Instagram posts or at least in the final video, which I will release. Once I figure out the sweet spot dose, whether that's 50 micrograms bilaterally or 100 or 200 or 400 micrograms bilaterally, maybe I'll even use 1 milligram every single day, 500 micrograms bilaterally. Again, the dosing that you hear anecdotally is anywhere between 25 micrograms bilaterally up to 500 micrograms bilaterally. So I guess I'm going to have to get my hands dirty and figure it out for myself. Once I hit that sweet spot dose, I will incorporate Januvia, sitagliptin, which is a dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor, which would otherwise promote the breakdown of growth factors, including recombinant human insulin-like growth factor 1. So besides preventing the breakdown of insulin and incretins like GIP and GLP-1, and a couple other growth factors, potentially including growth hormone releasing hormone. So maybe my growth hormone levels will go up slightly, although I will still be using exogenous growth hormone, 2.4 IUs per day. I'm not going to change anything to my diet, not going to change anything to my fertility protocol or my supplementation or my additional growth hormone that I take around the workout. I'm going to add in the IGF-1 pre-workout, figure out the sweet spot dose, then use Januvia, sitagliptin around the same time to prevent the breakdown of the exogenous IGF-1 to see if I can elicit a more pronounced effect, and then document everything here with before and after blood work as soon as I have the after blood work. I've also done my cancer marker screenings earlier this year. I think it was in May or March, so you don't have to worry about that. All of those markers were in range. I check those every year. And of course, a couple weeks ago, let's say 2 weeks ago, I did full blood work panel, but I didn't really feel to, make a separate video about that because everything was basically in range. So I'll do a comparison video before and after, after, let's say 10 days on Increlex at various dosages, including sitagliptin at one point, to keep you guys posted. I'll donate 10 milligrams, 1 milliliter to Aaron because he can put it to work a lot better than I do because I'm not really training that much for hypertrophy or overall bodybuilding aspirations, but he certainly is. So I'm expecting the world out of his gains. Personally, all I'm expecting is a little bit of a recomp effect. Again, I'm not on anabolic androgenic steroids, not training super hard, eating in a caloric deficit. I'm preparing to go to Japan at the end of this month, and I just want to be in a better shape than I am now. So stay tuned for the before and after pictures. I'll take my first before pictures tomorrow morning because I didn't do them today and I haven't done so in a very long time because, well, there's not much to report at this point. I have a slight dad bod, to be fair, so maybe I can improve over as little as 10 days. I do hear that IGF-1, legitimate IGF-1, is the shiznit, right? But stay tuned for the final results dropping somewhere around the end of this month or early September. For now, I'll leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't be jealous. Don't start asking me where I bought it or if I can send you some. It's not going to happen. This is basically karma for contributing to the fitness industry. I was awarded with a little bit of Increlex and, always giving back. I will document everything here on YouTube. For now, let's leave it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find everything that I'm associated with down below in the YouTube description section. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at VigorSteve. Vigorous crew, you guys know what to do. A pre-Increlex front double bicep, not bad. But let's see how much we can level up with, stay tuned on the actual dosing protocol. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you in the next one.